Hi, I'm Dave Kassler, amateur radio operator KE0OG, and as you know, I'm picking up an interest in flying. Right now I'm at the point where I'm pre-solo, trying to get my landings down to where they're accurate and so on, and I thought I'd just put a few of these together for one of the occasional flying videos. This is taking off down the runway. This was taken yesterday, and we had a beautiful day here. It was quite cloudy today. This airplane doesn't take much to get airborne, and you can see the wind blowing me around a little bit. There we are. We're up in the air. Let's see. We're gonna go on around the pattern here till we come back down. This is the city of Delta. Okay, not much really exotic going on here. It is an agricultural community and, interestingly, a mining community of sorts. Provides support for some coal mines that are further up in the hills, and the railroad for the mine goods come out. This road right through here is U.S. Highway 50, and now we're turning onto a final. I'll just show you some of the landings. All my landings yesterday were successful. Now this again is ground speed. It's GPS speed. It's not airspeed. I don't have any way of getting the airspeed in here. You can see this is the base leg right here. This is the actual runway. This is the crosswind, the downwind, the base, and the final. And there is the runway right there. We're turning onto the runway. We opted on a number of these to go long. The airport is 6,000 feet long, and it takes far less than that to land this airplane. So what I'm learning to do, and again, I'm not teaching. Please don't think I'm teaching you anything. I'm telling you and sharing with you what I'm learning. But see, these two are both white. It doesn't show up very well in the video, those things right there, and we're slightly off the center, but we do touch down anyway. And it was a pretty smooth touchdown, and we're going to slow down a little bit while we get the airplane all set up and ready. We've got to take all the flaps off and just one notch of flaps. There's 1, 2, and 3 notches of flaps. And I am forever not quite keeping that stupid thing over the white line. I am thinking that there is some play or something in the linkage between the rudder pedals and the front wheel. But anyway, we are going to take off here pretty quick, and the speed is getting up. 65 is about the speed where I would lift up. And so it's a leisurely takeoff. You can see where there's just a little bit of crosswind. So let's just go forward a bit here. Where is the okay, I've got to get a hold of that little doohickey. This territory here is as rough as it looks. It is pure dirt. Hardly anything grows down there. The soil is generally considered useless, and there's a whole band of it out here. This is sort of, I call it the Badlands that are out here, and now we turn away from them. We're going to go on our crosswind, and then almost immediately on the downwind back into the city of Delta, and next comes this next landing right here. As you can see, we're lined up pretty well. We've got one light white, one light red, which means we're right on glide slope. We're still going to land a little bit long, I think. The airplane, the instructor and I are still figuring out the airplane a little bit. It seems almost as though it lands a little better if you've still got a little bit of thrust on the thing. There, we landed again. Let's look at this next clip here. Each clip that the GoPro takes is 2 I'm sorry, it's 17.5 minutes, something like that. The GoPro will continue taking video for about 2 hours. Now this is coming in, again, a downwind, but we're going to go off. Oh, we're going to do one more landing here, which we'll do real quickly, and get on the ground and go back up in the air. And now we're going to wander off and go do some maneuvers, so you get to see a little bit more of the Uncompahgre Valley. The Uncompahgre and Gunnison join in Delta, and this is where the confluence is. And from here on toward Grand Junction, it's called the Valley of the Gunnison. This is looking south toward Montrose. We're trying some various turns and stuff here. There are certain objectives that have to be met in terms of the turns. You can see here we're going to do a few of those turns. Do a complete 360, and you have to do the complete 360 in such a way that you maintain altitude almost exactly. This is looking up. That is Grand Mesa right there. Grand Mesa is over 10,000 feet high, and this is the valley of the Gunnison, which goes toward Grand Junction, and you can see some far mountains in the distance there. Grand Mesa on top is forested and full of lakes, and it's just absolutely beautiful up there. Still kind of snowed in a little bit. Now we're heading more toward the east as we go around this 360-degree turn. The elevation is staying reasonably close, within limits. And so we do that, and then we're going to head back in the general direction of the airport. Now, in order to come into the airport here, we'll do a few more maneuvers. Come up over here, and we're going to come in at a 45 to the runway. Let's see if I can see where the runway is. You're going to get a little closer there. There it is right there. We're coming in at a 45-degree angle to the runway. See up here, we're coming in at a 45, and then we will find ourselves on downwind, and then need to treat this downwind just as though it's a regular. There's the base, and then there's the landing right there. Okay. There are standard patterns that have to be followed with the airports. This is one where we are just going to make another landing or so. Here, oh, we're actually getting off the runway right here. Okay, and going over to that little thing they never show you in the fancy films, but we've got to fill it with gasoline. So we fill it. There's two kinds that you can get here. The tank for this is over here. This is 100 octane gas that's lightly leaded. It's the only way they can handle the high compression engines used in aviation. This one right here is jet fuel, Jet A. And you can see right there the windsock. With the windsock out like that, we're probably looking at, 10-ish miles an hour, and it's not straight down the runway. So we'll just go past this because here is your hero. That's my flight instructor, and we're putting gasoline in the airplane and all that sort of stuff. We do one more takeoff and a landing. We get through the takeoff here. We move over to where we need to move, and this right here, you have to. This is the stop short line here. We stop short and make a couple final checks, put in one notch of flaps, stuff like that. Make a radio call, and then zoom, 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 and we're up in the air again. I think there's just a little bit more to this. Okay, we're going to go around, basically, make that complete loop. This is a very, very, very recognizable landmark from the air. the road turns from due north to due west. And also there's right there, if you can see it, a concrete grain elevator. That's a nice landmark too that you can see from the south real easily. But we're going to come in and do our final landing. I'll run this so you can see it. There's a method where you use the stick to control whether you go right or left, and then use the pedals to control whether you're lined up with the runway. I had one Augie complain about that, saying that that is not a good idea. And I got out the FAA books. There's an FAA book called Airplane Flying Handbook, and it describes what we are doing here exactly. So it's a perfectly legitimate technique. He said that if you tried that on the carrier landing, you'd be in a lot of trouble, and I'll just have to take his word for that. I am told by Sean McGrath, who's my ground school instructor, that the better way to land is to crab almost to landing and then straighten it out, but very few pilots figure that out before about 200 hours. So anyway, we are back taxiing. We're way over on the side here, so that we can exit the runway if somebody doesn't see us or hear us and lands. We can get off the runway and out of the way very, very quickly. And then we're going to make our radio calls and call it a day. And you can see here that we come down to my hangar. That's my truck there and my instructor's car. And yes, that hangar is plenty big enough for the airplane. Turn away from the hangar, and then we'll let's see, we'll just push this forward. We're going to get the tug out. I think I get the tug out. No, we have, there it is. You can just see the tug. See, do we have any more in here? I think there's a little extra piece left, or maybe this is it. I think that's it. I think oh, here it is. No, that's it. We've got the problem that the GoPro ran out of battery. It only lasts about 2 hours there. So anyway, just a few little flight videos. I don't have a ham radio video today. That'll resume tomorrow. And we'll see you all soon. And I intend to go flying tomorrow, so maybe I'll have a few more pictures for you. Until we next meet, 73.